to the Prophecy Club. We're going to be listening to the audio of some of Lindsey Williams' best DVDs. Now, in case you're not familiar with Lindsey, he served as a missionary on the Trans-Alaska Oil Pipeline for some 3 years. He became friends with some of the elite that ruled the world. He stays in touch. They tell Lindsey what their plans are, and he tells you in these DVDs. And we're offering 3 of his very best DVDs valued at $106, all for a gift to the ministry of just $38 or more. Now, that's basically order 1, get 2 free. That's really a good deal, and it's called the July gift offer. Now let's go on over and listen to Lindsey Williams in one of these 3 DVDs.
I promised that when my elite friend gave me information about the coming collapse, that I would let you know. I'm quite sure that most of you obtained this DVD because you would like to know when that collapse is going to take place. I have a question for you. Which collapse? That may sound surprising to you because most people, the only thing they think about is the Federal Reserve note, money, what's going to happen to the banks, when will the banks close. There are numerous other pending collapse that are going to affect your life as much or more than the closing of the American banks. Now, I will answer your question because I'm quite sure that you want to know when that which is of most interest to most people is going to take place. All right, I will answer your question first. And then after I do, answer the question about what I think most people think is most important. Then I will get down to the facts of what really is most important. I was just in touch with my elite friend a matter of days ago. Keep in mind that for 37 years, they have never told me anything that it did not happen exactly like they said it. All of these things are planned behind closed doors. They know exactly what's going to happen, and it doesn't always happen the way that the media tells you or that the average person in the world today thinks it is going to happen. My elite friend has told me when the elite will create the great financial event. May I say crash? Possibly that would be the word that most people would use for it. My elite friend has given me a time frame. Now please notice my wording carefully because I did not say date. My elite friend has given me a time frame. Even they themselves do not know the exact date as to which this is going to happen yet. Please, after you have heard what my elite friend has told me, please do not turn off this DVD just because you have a time when the next great collapse is going to take place. You must have an explanation. Otherwise, you'll completely misinterpret what the elite are saying. I have to be very careful whenever I'm listening to what they have to say because oftentimes I have to ask what's the background to information in order to be able to interpret just exactly what they're saying. Now, I think you will watch this over and over again. You probably will back this DVD up and get this definition that I'm about to give you. And this is the first time this has ever been given. I have never given this on a radio show. I've told it nowhere. I wanted to make this DVD and have it recorded before I ever state it in public anywhere. In fact, I have not even told a number of talk show hosts who have contacted me within the past few days and have wanted to know what my elite friend told me, and I have refused to tell them. You are the first one getting this. Here it is. You ready? Here is exactly when it will happen. The collapse will take place after the Affordable Health Care Bill is fully implemented. Now, please, let's look at this carefully. This Affordable Health Care Bill is very, very important to the elite, much more so than the average person is even giving any thought to. For the past 2 years, I have been a lone voice. Many of you recognize this. I have said things completely contrary to what the newsletters are saying, to what the commentators are saying, to what the national news media is saying, and especially of what the patriot community is saying. You remember that 2 years ago, one of my talk show hosts, very prominent talk show hosts, called me and said, "Chaplain, when is the collapse going to take place? Will you please go and ask your elite friend?" I did. And he kind of laughed and he said, "Chaplain, the collapse is not going to take place in the next 3 months." Well, I came back on the talk show. After all, the talk show host had been saying, "Oh, it's going to take place on this date. It's going to happen in October. October surprise." Then they came around to January. "Oh, it's going to happen January the 1st. This has been going on for 2 solid years. That the major newsletter writers, the people who are writing the books, the talk show hosts, and I would go back to them and I would say, it's not going to happen yet. Folks, do you realize, if you heard me on a talk show 2 years ago, that exactly what my elite friend told me has happened exactly as he said it is going to happen for 2 years' time, with all the forecast and doom and gloom that has been issued out there? The collapse has not taken place yet. For 2 years' time, let me say again, I have been a lone voice, and sometimes it's not easy to be a lone voice. And I would go back to my elite friend and I would say, when is it going to happen? Well, I've done that now. And the first time that I have gotten a true definition that I could give to you is right now. Why the elite are not ready yet? Now please try to understand this. Not yet. Here again, I'm a lone voice. Everywhere they're saying it's going to happen in 3 months, going to happen in 6 months. The elite have not created enough debt yet. Put it simply and plain, I don't know any other way to say it. Gradually, they are making slaves out of you and me and everybody in this world. And they're doing it so slowly that you're missing it. And you're not taking any action. And you're bowing down to what they said. Over 4 years ago, you will remember that my elite friend said something. Now, those of you, again, who have listened to radio shows or you've gone to lindseywilliams.net, you've heard this said. A little over 4 years ago, I was on the phone with my elite friend who now has died and has passed away. His name was Mr. Fromm. And I remember on that conversation, I didn't have the slightest idea what I was hearing. He said to me, he said, "Chaplain, there's something going to be presented before Congress before long, and it's going to be a health care bill." And I said, "Yeah, I've gotten wind of it a little bit. What's it all about?" He said, "Chaplain, this is not a health care bill." I'll never forget his statement. I had not the slightest idea at that time of the ramifications of what this man was saying. He knew. He'd already read the bill. He knew behind closed doors everything that was in that bill. He knew what I have just found out within the past few days, and that is that this health care bill is key to what the elite are going to do. It is connected in a relationship with what the elite are going to do in bringing about a financial collapse and when they will do it. This is not a health care bill, is what he said to me. I didn't have the slightest idea that it had nothing at all to do with it. Instead, it has to do with, well, first of all, I tried to get him to explain, and he did. First of all, there was the Patriot Act. It had to be passed. And you know how it came about after 9/11. Then the health care bill was put in place. And his statement to me was, he said, "Chaplain, the health care bill is the final straw. It is the total control factor. It is the one thing that will bring about a complete control, the name of the game is control." I've said this for 37 years. And this will bring about the completion of what they want to do. The elite must have total control before they can bring about a collapse of the system. Now, let's examine this affordable health care bill for a moment or two, because you can't imagine the importance of this. And when my elite friend said, Chaplain, the collapse will take place, let me repeat it once again because I don't want to have to go into it anymore in the course of this presentation. And he said to me, he said, Chaplain, the collapse will take place after, do you catch this word? After the Affordable Health Care Bill has been implemented is when it will take place. Now, let's examine this Affordable Health Care Bill for a moment or two. When is it going to be implemented? Now go back, think carefully with what you've heard from the news media lately. First of all, it was supposed to have been implemented as of January the 1st of 2014. Then our president, Mr. Obama, changed all of that. He altered things just not too long ago. The president said there will be a change. We're going to exempt businesses and corporations from having to do certain things until January the 1st of 2015. Now, are you catching this?
We'll be right back after this message. In 1980, an angel came to Dmitri Duduman and told him that it is written in the Bible and that America will be defeated in 1 hour by Russia. I just made a brand new DVD covering all of the secular, real-life proof that Russia really is preparing to do exactly that. Topics are: Arise, Devour Much Flesh, Russia and Prophecy, Russia Now Rich and Strong, Russia's numerous military expansions, Ukraine, and how it is making the bear angry. Russia is warning the U.S., but we're not listening. Russia is building their military, modernizing submarines, aircraft, missiles, and their army, while the U.S. is downsizing and filled with traitors and weaknesses. 2.5 hours, gift of $30. Go to prophecyclub.com or call 785-266-1112. That's The Russian Bear Rises at prophecyclub.com or 785-266-1112. Order today. It's time for the famous Prophecy Club Summer Blowout. You get 6 DVDs of your choice by calling 785-266-1112. Valued at $30 each, that's $180, all for a gift of just $100. Call 785-266-1112. Grab your cell phone, 785-266-1112. Not available on the internet. 785-266-1112. 6 DVDs for a gift of $100. Call now. And now, back to the program.
From having to do certain things until January the 1st of 2015. Now, are you catching this? I have told you that the elite have not put in place enough debt yet. They want more Detroits. Are you catching this? They want more failure. They want more big companies to fail. And as a result, Mr. Obama said, we're not going to fully implement this until January the 1st, not 2014, 2015. Now, notice the importance of this. The elite are not ready for a collapse. The financial collapse will not take place on January the 1st of 2014. Please, I hope you're not going to quote me incorrectly. This is the reason I asked you to listen to the rest of this DVD, because unless you hear it all, you won't understand. If you just take my one statement as to what my elite friend told me, which is going to determine whether your family survives or not. And later on in the course of this DVD, I will tell you things that you positively must do before January the 1st of 2014, not 2015, but before January the 1st of 2014. And if you don't, your family will suffer tremendously, and you will not survive this crash. I know you've said now the implementation of this goes all the way up to 2014. The financial collapse will not take place on January the 1st, 2014. They want more debt. There positively must be a failure of pension funds. They must have more Detroits. They've got to have a Chicago. They want more people on welfare. They want you totally dependent on them before they bring the collapse about. They want you so dependent that you can't do one thing about it when they actually decide to close the banks, bring about a collapse of the American dollar.